I'm just going to redo my expedition guide, and I hope I clarify more things. So basically, um, if you don't have enough currency, like for example, I don't have a lot of currency, I cannot buy in bulk. If I want to buy in bulk, I just go to TFT and then I go to bulk, wanted to sell bulk right here, and you go to the expedition. Here's what wanted to buy, and here's what to wanted to sell. And you go to bulk expedition, and as you can see right here, there are a lot of people that are selling logbooks. Um, if you don't have enough currency, I would not bother with this because it's gonna be tricky. Let's just put it that way. You're still going to make profit, but it's just going to be a bit of a hassle because you're going to get some logbooks that are bad, and you're also paying a premium. What I did this league because right now people are selling for 45 kills, but they used to sell for 50 to 53 kills in bulk. What I did, I had this filter, and I just bought myself good logbooks. Um, the reason for that being is not just to save a few kills here and there, but also I get a better layout. After you make a lot of currency and the league develops and the economy stabilizes, for sure you just go with buying in bulk. But I wouldn't bother with buying in bulk unless you really have to. It's like, think about it this way: you're probably going to make about 10 kills per each trade. You're going to save 10 kills, and you're also going to get a better logbook. From my experience, running logbooks like this, you tend to get anywhere between 6 to 7 exotic coin each on average. Um, and while with these logbooks, you tend to get 9 to 10. Sometimes 11, but it's 9 to 10. So you just basically make around, I would say, uh, 20 to 25 at least chaos per logbook spot this way. Now, we are interested in running Black Scythe logbooks because that's what I think it's most profitable, even more profitable than Knights of the Sun. But if you want to run Olrot, you want to run Dunning, you go for Knights of the Sun. The process is still the same. Uh, so here I have selected for Black Scythe Mercenaries, and I wanted the Black Scythe Mercenaries to be on one of these layouts. The best layout is going to be Vault Temple, but all the other three are also good. And I would like my logbook to have at least two of these modifiers. The best one is the chest markers, but if it doesn't have the chest markers, all the other ones are still good enough. Uh, to search for an item for area level, uh, so you want level 83 logbook, you just type here 83 or whatever level you want, or if you want from a range, you type also the maximum. Anyway, uh, what's going on? I'm not going to start trading again. I'm just going to log on my standard account. Uh, you get the idea. You get the idea of how to do the trades. But basically now I'm going to go on my standard account and show you how to actually run the logbooks. Um, so first of all, when you control click Danning, it opens this window. Here is your logbook, and what I would do to, if you have many logbooks, for example, let's just go hide this. Let's just say that you have many logbooks. You would just put them into a stash. Let's see if I can find. So I would just put them here, just like this, for example, and I would type normal. I would see that this is normal. The other ones that are not highlighted are not normal. I would scour the other ones, make them normal unless they have very good modifiers. Also pay attention to modifiers that you cannot do. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to go for 70 quantity logbooks because you may not be able to do them. The difference is not that huge between 50 something item quantity logbook and 70 or 90 quantity logbook. Definitely the one with 90 quantity is much better, but the difference is not that huge. Um, stick anywhere between I would say like 60% quantity, 55 it's good enough. But if you want to push it further, push it further. The only thing that is going to take you is going to take some time to actually uh, roll the logbooks. At this point, let's just say you have to have in your inventory some scourings, some blessed orbs, and use orb of binding or orb of alchemy, depending on what you actually have available. Anyway, so orb of scouring, you just scour and roll the modifiers that you want. I don't have the regex right now, but there's a regex in which it will highlight um, a logbook that has above a certain quantity. But you can probably, I'm going to leave it in the description, but you can also Google it. It's called regex, like this. Um, PoE regex should show it. Um, One thing you could do, you can use best orbs. Um, when you hold Shift and Alt, it will also highlight. If you just only hold Shift, you can use the blessed orbs. But if you hold Alt at the same time, it will also show the value. So here it shows me that on Druid of the Broken Circle, area contains between 12 and it says between 10 to 10 to 40 increased number of monster markers. You only when you buy logbooks, you will have some implicits that are not really that important. So you don't have to make them perfect. You just have to get the good modifier. Like for example, uh, the Order of Chalice on the Rotting Temple. The layout is bad, but let's just say that we are running Rotting Temple, for example. Um, we would care both about the increased number of explosives and increased quantity of artifacts. However, if we are running the bluffs one from above, we don't really care about the monster markers because it doesn't really do much, and the explosive range really not that important. You can just throw one or two blast orbs just like this, just for fun, but it's really not that important. So don't waste many blast orbs on implicits that are not good. But if you're buying them from the trade site, most likely the logbooks will be good and will have good implicits. So you wanna use more blast orbs to make them better. After that, after you have rolled your logbooks, you make sure you used alchemies. Uh, if you once again, if you type normal, it shows you the items that are normal. Use a orb of scouring, like for example, this is what I would mean. I would use an orb of scouring on this one. This is yellow. It makes it white. And now if I use the binding orb, it will make it rare like this. And then if you type rare, it shows you this. And then once again there's a regex. That regex will highlight a certain quantity. For example, you can type reflect if you or whatever modifier you cannot do. You cannot run poison. That's up to you. When you go to Danning, you control click him, and this is your logbook. You control click the logbook and you put it like this, and then you go to the desired layout. Let's just say we go to bluffs. So I'll show you real quick how to do the logbook. I'm assuming that you don't have a lot of currency. If you have a lot of currency, you can pretty much do this brain dead. But if you don't have a lot of currency and you want to get the most out of your logbooks, what you're going to do, apart from hitting artifacts chests, which are this one, the blue ones, you also want to hit other good chests or remnants that are nearby. When you have plenty of logbooks and you're running 100 logbooks at a time, this really doesn't make a difference because um, sure you will get less loot, but at the same time you will do more logbooks per hour, so the profit is still the same. However, you don't have a lot of currency, you are just getting started. This is how you would do it. First of all, let's just press tab and try to hit the chests and the underground areas at the end of your explosion. Now this is not necessary. This is not the case for every logbook, but this is the idea. So I would say hey, I want this area to be the last or this one, whichever one has the most chests. I see that the remnants are close here, so I would path this way like this. I would go here, take this chest right here, and end up um, with this underground area. So basically, what I'm doing, I'm just guiding myself by the location of the blue chests and the underground areas, also the currency chests as well, but they're not really that important. Um, Along the way, when you see skulls like this, take them. They're very good. They just simply are. Um, if you use a remnant to take 2 skulls, is good. Most of the time, this will drop exotic coins. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. Don't take remnants that are not good. Like for example, pack size is okay, but fire, it gives penetrate fire resistance for increased experience. Doesn't do anything. Um, Another thing would be um, to look for underground areas. I'm not sure if I can find one here. Um, I think this layout doesn't have one. I mean, not underground, but hidden areas. There are some hidden areas, and I think you're familiar with them. I think you've encountered them. Um, Other than that, some remnants that you should pay attention to are going to be the remnants that give like stack decks. Increased quantity of artifacts dropped by monsters is okay if you can take it early, but don't redo your logbook just for increased quantity of artifacts dropped by monsters unless there's a boss. If there is a boss, you go for increased quantity of artifacts, as many of these remnants as possible. Other than that, just don't bother. But if you find a remnant that gives you uh, stacked decks, like for example this one, excavated just gives stacked decks, I would start with this one because this is very good. And the same goes for the fractured. So although my initial pathing was to go like this, was to take this chest, take some of the remnants here if they are good enough, and finish with the currency chest and blue chest and this underground area last. Now I'm going to switch my pathing, and the reason for that is going to be because I saw that here there's a stack deck remnant. This is very good. So if there's a stack deck remnant or heroic monsters are duplicated, or there is one which says fractured, drop fractured items, take those ones. But other than that, remnants are really not that important. Increased number of rare monsters is okay, but really not that impressive. Um, Sometimes if you're close to a chest, try to hit it. Like for example, here, try to hit both the skull and this chest together with the currency chest as well. Um, this remnant right here is useless, completely useless, so you don't take it. Uh, for example, here I would not waste time trying to get both of these, especially if there's a delirium. The delirium is pretty worthless. From my experience, what is worth is going to be the divination card. Almost all the time fossils. In the beginning of the league, the Metamorph one is not going to be profitable. Later on, Metamorph one is really, really profitable. Anyway, when you are taking remnants like this, try to get with the skulls once again. Uh, the reason why I'm not going... Actually, I could go for this chest. Like this. I was initially planning to not go that way, but I think I changed my mind. Increased quantity of artifacts. Like for example, this is a good situation. I could use a remnant here and take 2 skulls, or take the heist chest. Both are fine, but I think the skulls are more important. But if you want, you can also use one explosive here. It's not that big of a deal, and also it gives you some. It could give you a deception contract, which you can sell for 7 chaos, and also gives you some markers. So this is not really a bad chest. Once again, try to take the, skulls. And don't forget your pathing. Your pathing, you should have a vision to where you're going, right? For example, this right here, I wanted to go straight to this one and maybe take this chest right here. But I saw that here are 3 skulls, so I took the skulls. Um, they the unique, the harbinger, the maps. The maps sometimes can be good. Like for example, in this case, what I would do, I would say if I could try to just maybe undo this and uh, also hit the one with the maps like this, because it's already nearby 3 big skulls. So that's a good investment of time to just undo a remnant to get it. Once again, here I hit 2 skulls, but my main focus would be to get to this to to this underground area. This is the last one, and now before you press the detonate, you have the button right here, and here it shows all the bonuses and all the modifiers that will apply to monsters, and if there's any modifier that you don't want, you just simply go and undo it. But this is basically how you do it. Obviously, if you're league starting, you don't have a lot of currency. One thing, you'd have to do logbooks the way GG intended, and that means to read the modifiers. But I know PoE players don't read modifiers, so like who cares. But if you break your logbook and you cannot complete the boss, is most likely because you put some modifiers that you cannot do, because nobody reads them anyway. Anyway, let's just run the logbook. Basically, here I would not advise you to loot early on. Um, leave the loot for the last. But if your build is strong enough or you're fast enough with the clicks, you can just loot along the way. But for most builds, it's better to just completely clear the logbook. I definitely um, can just loot at the same time because my build is very strong. Um, but most builds will not loot. Will just kill the monsters and then loot at the end, because logbooks can be very difficult. So anyway, that was the logbook. Now I want to show you something. For those of you that are new, like for example, this is why we took the stack deck remnant. We will probably get around 10 stack decks from this logbook. But what I want to show you, it's this. So you go to this blue chest. I'm pretty sure you know, but if you don't know, this blue chest will only give you some artifacts that you cannot sell. You cannot sell them. You have to use them. So what you would do, you would go into your hideout. Now this was not a 2-gen logbook, it was a Gwenon one. And I don't have exotic coins for some reason. However, you would go to 2-gen and exchange your these artifacts with exotic coinage. You'd buy items. I have a video about 2-gen, and I'll leave it that in description because it's good video. But basically what you do, you try not to spend more than 30, maybe 35 to 40 greater artifacts per one chaos worth of value.
Welcome.
Let's see, maybe I don't have anybody else as well. But you'd go to 2-gen um, and you would buy items, and if there are no good items, I mean, if there are expensive items, you just simply don't buy them. Like, if that item is not worth at least 1 chaos per 30 grand, just the grand Black Scythe artifact, you just simply don't buy it. This, maybe 20 per 1 chaos worth of value, and the lesser ones, very unlikely that you'll run out of. It happened to me a few times to run out of lessers, but most of the time you're not going to run out of these. It's either this one, or this one if you get like 5 divines, but that rarely happens, so don't even bother. Also, so the 2-gen in and of itself, it's I have a video and I'll leave it into the description, um, because that video covers everything well. But the idea here is to just use your left hand sits on escape. You use your scroll wheel to move this around like this, and when you press escape, it closes this window. So let's just say you make a mistake, you didn't want this item, you wanted the Orb of Hiding. You can just quickly press escape and change the item, and use the scroll wheel to move this, and try to pay around 1 chaos for at least to pay 30 um, grand Black Scythe artifacts for at least 1 chaos worth of value. So this would be my tip for you. And this is how you do logbooks. If you're having trouble with this, I don't understand. Like, um, I don't know. If you're really not making profit with this, there's something wrong with you, because I showed you it's
Watch
actually
your
very
back.
doable to make lots of currency even at the beginning of the league.